So my name is Carlos Tremonte, and my major is biology and a minor in environmental science
Mm.
or studies. And I went I did my abroad in Australia, specifically at the University of Queensland. Australia, basically, for me, I always wanted to. I want to do marine biology, and
Mhm.
so it's like, for lack of a better word, it's like the mecca for that place, or for that field. And so um, it really just like, when I got the opportunity to be able to go, it was like that was like it for me. And it's essentially because I wanted to do marine bio. Yeah. Yeah. So I was in the University of Queensland, which is in Queensland,
Mhm.
and they have a field station on the Great Barrier Reef, and so uh, it was incredible. And I got to spend some time up there doing like answering like a research question for one of my classes. It was like almost 2 weeks there, so it was it was the most incredible thing in the world. For me, abroad has been like the single most like powerful driving force
Mhm.
for everything that I've done since. I always knew that I wanted to do marine biology, given my experience with like in South Florida where I live, and like I go down to the Keys a lot, and like I dive and do all that stuff. But Australia, and through the travel grant that I was given, it really gave me the opportunity to see the places that I've only dreamed of seeing. Um, and so either being on the Great Barrier Reef on the field station that they have now on Heron Island, with the professors that are like the experts in the field, um, was like, just it really just enriched my understanding of these ecosystems. And being on the reef and going out for like a sunrise snorkel, like diving there, it was just, I've never seen so many corals, because here in Florida, unfortunately, it's not good, due to climate change and stuff like that. But there, they still have relatively healthy coral, especially since it's on the southern Great Barrier Reef. And
Mhm.
so that was it like lit a fire under me, that I was like, I need to say this. I remember it was on my birthday, and we
Mhm.
went to we went to go snorkel off the reef ledge, and I've never seen so many coral in my life, and it was just mind boggled by it. And so I would say that that alone changed me completely. And obviously, there's also like the cultural experience and like the vibe, which I really resonated with, the
Mhm.
way people are there. But no, I would say that those 10 days on that research island were was what changed me completely for the rest of my life. Yeah, I always wanted to do coral biology, but
Mhm.
that only cemented it. It really it was the most incredible thing in the world. So whatever hurdle, whatever reservation you might have about studying abroad, um, fight it to like do it. When I unfortunately, my GPA, because I was taking I decided to take the hardest classes first, my
Mhm.
freshman year, and so my GPA was like at a 2.9, and so I was not in a good place, being able to go abroad. But I fought it. I said, I need to go abroad. This is my experience. Like please don't make this as a barrier. And so every I went out of my way to be able to go abroad. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been the same person as I am today. And so, and that's just talking about like, if you're unfortunately not able to go abroad. But if you have any reservation, if you have any ability to even be able to go abroad,
Mhm.
100% do it, because it really just, it gives you a completely different outlook on life, whether that just be living in a different country that isn't the US, which has really invigorated me politically, um, as well as culturally, as well as just like understanding different areas after after I was able to go abroad, with the travel grant that I got. I was able to go to Southeast Asia and traveled around there and New Zealand and all these places. And so I would say it really, it humbles you. It pushes you into new areas where you literally you can't interact and speak with other people. So
Mm-hmm.
1,000,000%, if you have the ability to do it without a doubt. Oh, we did a lot. So we did, first we did Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a coral reef hotspot there that is the biodiversity hotspot of all marine life in that
Mm,
little area.
interesting.
So we went there. And then it was super remote. 10 days there. We didn't have electricity, showers, toilets, nothing. It was very bare bones, but I loved it. And then afterwards, we went to Singapore for a couple of days, which was another culture shock coming from nothing to
Yeah.
tech hub of Southeast Asia. And then we went up, hit up Malaysia, did some national parks there, and then we unfortunately didn't have enough time to do Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't want to, like, I felt that it was too touristy. So
Yeah.
then we skipped Thailand, went to Cambodia, spent a couple of days there, which is very beautiful. And then we spent a good chunk of our time in Vietnam, and that was for us. That was for me. That was insanely culturing. So I don't know. I guess two things. I felt that one, like a lot of people, oh, go abroad. You're taking easy classes. You're doing this and that. Um, as for that statement, I completely disagree with that. I mean, obviously, you can choose to do easy classes, but being that I was at the university with like the professors that are the experts in the field, I decided to take the highest class. Like
Mm,
I didn't see it as like a vacation. I saw it as, this is my chance to really learn about a subject that isn't offered at BC. And so I took all like three of the four classes I took were high level marine bio classes, and so they were very difficult. They really, for the first time, I felt that I learned how to think like a scientist.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I wouldn't consider. I mean, depending on what you go with, I didn't consider abroad to be a vacation. Definitely, I was able to do stuff outside, and I had free time and all that stuff because of how the classes are structured. But it was definitely challenging, to say the least. But I got great grades and stuff like that, so that's good. And then the other misconception that I felt personally, was like, before the pre-departure orientation, it said like, oh, you're gonna get really homesick. And personally, I didn't feel that at all. I felt so at home. Um,
Mm,
I felt more at home in Australia than I have in the last 3 years in Boston. Very strange. That's just my personal experience, like being in Boston College and like the culture there. But I can't begin to like describe how incredibly warm the people and receptive they were to like me, and especially that I was the only like international student in these upper level classes.
mhm.
Um, and so I really felt it was very like I just all of a sudden joined the community and I was part of it, and like I was interacting. I'm still very close with like a vast majority of those people and they talk to me all the time and talk about what's happening here, and they're like, hey man, you need to come over soon. But it was definitely, yeah, I never felt homesick because that I felt very accepted and very I finally found like a group of people that had a like-minded interest, because BC doesn't have that. Um, but Australia gave that to me, and it was just incredible. Mm. Um, I guess, you know, it goes back to that question of like, do you have any, like, are you still deciding or going abroad? I think that it's one of the most transformative experiences that you'll have in your life. There's no other time in your life where you just kind of go for 6 months and like are part of a culture, um, and really like interacting with the people, given that you're at university and stuff, and definitely different ambiance than American universities, as in the way that they teach and in the way that students are looked at. They're not seen as like students, are seen as like adults,
Mm.
that and like it's more of like a student, like the professor and student are more seen as equals, and one just knows more about a topic than the other. As opposed to, let's say, with my experience sometimes in Boston, where I felt that it's more of like that strict, I'm a teacher, you're a student, you need to learn from me. And so I think that was another thing. And so I guess just do not miss out on that opportunity, because it'll change your life forever.